Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Ryan and Degenerate Passive Income coming to you today on a Thursday afternoon here, Central Standard Time. Might be early for some of you guys, late for some of you guys. We're here on a Thursday because the early bird pre-launch for LSteak ends Friday evening at midnight UTC, and we'll discuss what actual time it is for I'm going to say the normal people, but it's not just normal. But I'm so Graham is 17 hours ahead of me, so the time I try to figure that out, it just boggles my mind. I'm like, how that's even possible. Anyway, we are here with Graham because we want to spread out the information, obviously, to get into pre-launch. I have already put my funds in for pre-launch. I'm excited. I want to be in the early bird because there is advantage of that, and I want to take advantage of that, because it's another 2.5% in a rebate and things of that nature. And we're going to go through everything, guys. So if you have any questions, please ask them in the chat. This is what we're here for. We've got a lot of things we're going to cover. We've got graphs. Graham has made spreadsheets to show like a bear market, how it would perform, a bull market. We're going to show all that, all right? We're hoping for a March 1st launch at the latest, maybe sometime in February. We're going to go through all the details, guys. So sit back and relax and ask questions if you need to. We're here with the one and only Grover321 or Graham or Furry Blue Me in all my YouTube lives. He answers all the questions before I even get to it. He is here. I'm going to ask him questions. Hopefully you guys do too. I'm a big believer in LSteak because it's going to use Bernard bonds. We're going to talk about that. For revenue and other things such as some hedges like Bitcoin, ETH, gold, silver, stuff like that. So without further ado, Graham, thank you for joining me. I know it's early over there. It's a late afternoon for me. Crazy time zones, but we're going to get through it.
Yes, certainly. Crazy time zones. It's not that bad here. Not that bad here. It's 9 o'clock over here. So I can deal with that time. Deal with that time.
Right. Exactly. So, I mean, let's just get right into it. A lot of people are asking me, DMing me and stuff like that. You know, Ryan, I'm trying to figure out LSteak. I'm trying to figure out, you know, what's what. I'm in the Telegram group, and I mean, this is your guys' chance to really listen and actually, you know, I've got other videos on this too, guys. You go into my lives if you're confused on how it works. But what is LSteak? Sum it up just shortly, Graham. And you know, what is it doing? Is it sustainable in a bear market? What would it look like in a bull market? We'll get into all that a little bit later. But for now, what is it, and how do we perceive this whole protocol?
LSteak is a fully backed liquid staking protocol, which what that means is one LSteak has initially $1 worth of backing behind it. After that, market does obviously determine the value of the backing, and because of the compounding of the yield of the bonds in the backing, it increases the amount of backing per time, and then when you stake that token into the extra layer, it increases the redemption ratio. So you're getting 2 layers of compound, which enable you to the value of your investment increase over time, no matter what market conditions.
Okay, so I mean, and so it's kind of like, and we're using Bernard bonds as like a minimum of 80% of the revenue, correct?
That's correct. 80% of the minimum of 80% of the revenue is coming from bonds because it's backed by 80% by a minimum of 80% of bonds. So that's where the real yield comes from to compound back into the system. So the system then compounds that back into both the actual backing of the token and also, as I mentioned, the actual extra layer. On top of that, there are also internal transaction burns, so it's constantly contracting supply, which speeds it up even further, and increases the protocol liquidity, which reduces volatility, reduces volatility on exit.
Okay.
It does all of this. It actually does it better during bad condition. It strengthens better during bad conditions.
Okay. So,
Yep.
and I get a lot of comments. People are asking me, why don't I just buy bonds? Like, if we're using Bernard bonds, why don't I just buy more Bernard bonds? Because I mean, there's people stacking those things every single day. What is your answer to that?
Well, the first thing I'll say is, because with bonds, they are a great product, but you're 100% exposed to the crypto market. Your exposure is 100%. You've got no hedge to prevent against negative market conditions. So bonds, as we know, the prices definitely go down. They also go up. So having the hedge, which is BTC, Ethereum, and gold, right, helps reduce any drawdown due to market conditions, and also gives you direct exposure to to any upside via Bitcoin and Ethereum. So first of all, you've got that safety net of a hedge, which you don't have in bonds. Secondly, there's no friction with exit. With bonds, you're going to get hit with that 10%. All right. With LSteak, you can exit not just one bond, you can exit a portion of a bond. So I believe the price is around about $80 at the moment. If you wish to exit bonds, you'd have to sell one. So you could only sell $80 at a time, and you'd only receive around about $72 back. Whereas with LSteak, you can, if you only need need to sell $10 worth, you can sell $10 worth, and there's no tax on that. Only standard slippage applies.
Okay, so that's the meat and potatoes of it. Like, obviously,
that's the meat and potatoes, exactly. On top of that, the system does make it actually perform better than bonds. Now, have I lost you there for a second? I can't hear you.
I'm here.
Yes, the system actually does perform better than bonds, and I can show that with the spreadsheets spreadsheet simulation that I've spent quite a considerable amount of time doing.
I'm sure you have. Yeah. So, okay. So before we get into spreadsheets, let's talk about.
There's over 120 different types of formulas that I've had to do to get it to simulate it.
Right. And maybe we should talk about where the investment goes. If someone were to put $500 in, like before the pre-sale or the early bird, or after the pre-sale, where's my 500? Or actually, to make it easy, let's just say 1,000, because it's percentages. So where is my $1,000 going at pre-sale, and what am I getting? What am I gaining by getting in before actual launch?
Okay, we can move down here where it's actually got it on the screen. At pre-launch, right, out of that $1,000, right, first of all, 20% is given to you as liquid LSteak, So out of that $1,000, you get $200 worth of LSteak. All right. The remaining 80% is put into bootstrap liquidity. So we've got tradable liquidity on launch. All right. That then earns you yield, right? And you're able to claim that yield as it accumulates. You get 80% of that yield, 80% of the yield that your bootstrap liquidity provision creates. 5% is used to burn LSteak, and 15% is compounded, increasing the amount of bootstrap liquidity you actually own. For the early bird special, which ends on I think it's nearly 12 hours or so, you get 5% rebate on your liquidity provision portion of your investment. which is an extra thank you for your investment, which 5% of 80s about $40 on $1,000 investment.
Okay. And then yeah. Okay. So go ahead.
Right. The liquidity, the bootstrap liquidity provision portion of your investment is held for 3 months. All right. That's still to provide stability of the system. All right. After that, the monthly withdrawals begin, and at each month, the increase in POL is calculated. A minimum of 50% of the increase is then made available for investors to withdraw out of the bootstrap. It isn't taken out of the liquidity until someone wishes to remove it, and the removal pays you in LSteak.
Okay. POL, for those who don't know, is
protocol owned liquidity.
Okay, got it.
So what this is doing is, like, we've got the bootstrap liquidity, which is your investment, which you own, and we're increasing the protocol owned liquidity. We don't want the drain of people exiting the bootstrap liquidity to go at a faster rate than we're increasing the liquidity. So in order to prevent that, not all of the amount that so let's say the POL increases by $100 that month. That's a tiny amount, but easy maths. 50% of that means $50. $50 of that would be released for people to be able to take out their bootstrap liquidity provision. This enables the overall liquidity to continue to grow and not go backwards or anything like that from people exiting their bootstrap liquidity.
Okay, that makes sense. So what is the big advantage from getting in before? First of all, let's figure out what time this thing ends. So you said 12 a.m.
Midnight the 9th on UTC, whatever that works out to be.
Midnight, so that's 12 would be noon, and then 5 more, so 7 a.m. tomorrow for me.
That seems about right.
About 9 hours from now?
Yeah, that's 7 a.m. No, that's nearly 12 hours, 24 hours if it's, oh no, I'm going my time. I hate time conversions.
I know, it's insane. If you're 17 hours ahead, mine is 17 hours from midnight. So yeah.
Anyhow, midnights at UCT or GMT or Greenwich Mean Time, whatever you use these days, on the 9th, the early bird special will close, and the early bird special only applies to deposits before that date.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So after that date, the 2.5% instead of the 5% applies.
Yes. So yeah, if you don't make the cutoff, guys, it's just a 2.5% rebate thing. So it's not the end of the world, but I want it max.
It's not a huge, but it's a little bit less.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So we're at. It's still pre-launch after that until launch date. And maybe we should talk about that for a second before we get into deep into the numbers. How is development going? And what are we looking at for, launch dates and things of that nature?
Development's is still powering along. BTT Scott's had to take a little bit of a pullback for it to get the Lotto one for AJ done. I can never remember the name.
EarnFi.
Yeah. Once to make sure that gets out on time, there was a little bit extra that he had to do, so he had to focus on that for a little bit. But we're still looking at being able to launch early February. Again, this isn't an exact date. It will depend on how development goes and how auditing goes, but that's where we're looking at this stage.
Okay.
I can't see it extending too much further than that. Worst case scenario, I would suggest late February would be a launch date.
Okay. So
that's at this point in time.
let's say worst case scenario, March 1st, probably.
Yeah. Something along those lines is where we're looking at based on how fast we're going with development.
Right.
I will be keeping everyone informed with how that's going. I'm always available, as you know, to answer questions. Yes, having a lot of fun working with Scott and developing the system.
And if anybody doesn't know who Scott is, he's the one who developed Plasm, ladies and gentlemen.
He's the primary lead dev that went with has developed Plasm. He also developed Unity, Taurus, and so forth, which Plasm is based on.
Okay, perfect. Yes. So we've got ending in about 12 hours. We've got a launch date of hopefully first part of February. Late February,
early March.
Yep. It's USDC on base, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to make a investment, it's all on that page. I will link everything in the description. And then you just need to DM Grover after you deposit a 500 minimum. Okay, there's no maximum, and just DM him he'll have your name obviously, but the transaction hash and the amount, and he'll verify it. He did that with me. So then you'll all be good, correct?
That's right. I mean, although we do have the on-chain data of your transaction, I like to have a double check and paper trail. So that's why I ask for a DM with the transaction details, and then I can manually confirm that it's all gone through, because I like to have double checks on things.
Right. Yeah, for sure. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt at all. So I think everybody kind of gets what it is, what it's all about, and how to get in. Graham, obviously, I'm not saying this is 100% degen, because it is using real world, real yield, guys. But I want to see numbers myself. What does my 500 or 1,000 or whatever it is, what am I going to get? I want to know in a bear market, in a bull market, and I want to know, well, actually, maybe even before we talk about that, Graham, obviously you're doxed. You're showing your face, everything. Obviously, I'm sending him the hat, guys. If you want hats, let me know. I've got my shirt on as well. So, let me know. But Graham will be getting some of those in the mail. I'm sure it'll probably take a month.
I'm looking forward to it.
A month before it gets all the way over to Australia, but it'll get there.
Hopefully, it doesn't cost more to send it over here than it costs to make them.
Yeah, it's probably be close. But maybe we should talk about. I know you're helping, or I shouldn't say helping. Well, maybe you are. I don't know. But you're involved with the development with BTT, and obviously you're doxed. Are we going to be able to see, like on Bernard bonds and DexFi Treasury bonds and all this other stuff? Are we going to be able to see actual numbers? Like if I click a box, it could go right to DBank. I want to see what money's where, what's worth what. I want 100% transparency is what I want, just like in every other thing under the EMP umbrella. Is that what we're going to get here?
We are going to be 100% transparent. And any wallets or contracts that hold funds will have a link to DBank. And contracts which are just code or what have you, there will be the contract address in the white paper, which you can then go view. No use in a DBank link because they're pretty boring. They're just going to say 0 and for code. But anything that has funds in it will be, and all contracts will be either in the white paper, and in the white paper, but also have links on the site if they have funds in the actual contracts. Okay.
So we'll be able to see what's happening and what money's where.
Everything that's happening. No black boxing. No hidden smoke and mirrors. You can go on chain, have a look at what's happening, and check out the numbers yourself. There will be full transparency of absolutely everything.
Perfect. That's what the space wants, guys. That's what the space. That's what I demanded when Graham first came to me. I mean, I've been talking about LSteak with Graham for like almost 3 months now, and I'm like, yeah, you know, when it comes up. But I said, I said, I'm done talking about this unless we have full transparency, unless you're willing to get on camera with me with your face, not just behind a screen or some emoji. But that's what it's going to take for me to talk about this with you. And you know,
and I was exactly on the same page with you even before we started talking. I mean, like I'm in the same page. I'm fed up with these teams that hide behind something, hide behind an icon. You don't really know who they are. You can't see what's happening. I'm personally fed up with it, so I didn't want that when I made a project. I wanted 100% transparency with absolutely everything. A lead that's willing to get in front of the people, show their face, willing to dox, willing to be there to answer the hard questions.
Exactly, and that's what I needed, and that's what I demanded. And here we are, guys. 2-3 months later, after starting to talk about it, we're coming to fruition. Hopefully, in the next month and a half. I'm excited about it. What makes me more excited, Graham, is show me some numbers on a bearish market and on a bullish market on some kind of investment, whatever you think. I mean, maybe do $500. Like that's the minimum, right? So $500.
That's the minimum.
So just walk me through.
All right. Okay, so let's the initial settings. We've got 30,000K. 30,000K, that would be great. 30K backing, which is what we've already raised. All right, the yield, which is set across the whole year at 30%, which is approximately what the yield currently is. All right, initial treasury 5,000, which is what the treasury we've got, and market simulator. Well, at the moment we've got basically a sideways market. So let's set it up for the current market, which is swings between down 5% to up 5%. In those conditions, bonds are neutral position. They are standard markets, whereas hedge is actually working in our favor. So that's deposits averaging $5,000 a month. A variable to market conditions. I've actually set up a market condition simulator. So roughly $5,000 worth of deposits per month, which is only around about $165 worth of deposits a day. So absolutely nothing coming in, pretty much nothing coming in. Investment $500. All right, that shows you that you get $100 worth back. Plus your bonus based on 2.5%, which is 10 extra. Now the raw numbers as they come out is after 12 months, right? In those types of market conditions, you'd be walking away with $844.54 on a $500 investment, which is a 69% gain. Right?
16% APR. So but that's just with a $500 investment and like a market going sideways and with only $5,000 worth of fresh capital coming in every month, correct?
That's correct. Okay. That's just very average, like $160 a day coming in, which works out to be around about $5,000 a month, which is really small uptake. And sideways markets, basically what we're kind of in at the moment, where it's fluctuating around about the 90K, going up going up 5% and then coming back down 5% and being really annoying. Now, if we go to the charts, this is where you can see where it's happening. The token ratios, we've got the blue line, which represents the backing per token. Sideways market, it goes up slowly. It's not very exciting. And goes up to, at the ends, you're looking at about $1.21 for LSteak. The redemption ratio is also increasing, nice and steady straight line there. That's the red one, right? And that in itself has gone up to a 1.29%, a 1 to 1.29% ratio. The combination of which means that your actual return, if you exit out to dollars, is actually $1.56. So for every $1 that you put in at the start, you get $1.57 at the end, and that's just your standard investment if you just bought LSteak when we launched.
Okay.
This is your comparison here. So this is the comparison to someone that invested pre-launch and someone that invested after launch. Okay, red line here is your after launch investment. Right, there's a little bit. It performs. There's a little bit of drawdown there, meaning that it only gets 5%, I think, or thereabouts, instead of going straight up like a normal post pre-launch investor. And that's you can see the standard investor just going up like that, whereas a pre-launch investor, so a much it starts to separate and goes up higher, and compared to a post-launch investor, you get your pre-launch investor gets 49% return, 49.3% return at the end. A post-launch investor gets 49.3% return at the end, and a pre-launch investor gets 68.91% at the end. So a nice extra return. And here's what the Treasury is doing. As you can see, it's constantly that it's not eating into the runaway, and it's constantly increasing how much I'm paying off debts and launch responsibilities. Now, if we go and change these conditions, right? So I want to go back to dashboard. Let's give ourselves a bear market. All right. This is what no one really likes simulating, because that's when they think, oh, everything's going to fail.
Yeah.
So let's say we've got swings going from negative 15%. Again, we'll go going up to positive 2% days. That's a nice day in a bear market. Your bonds act as a little bit of a amplifier because they've got full exposure to market. And but the hedge is the hedge acts as a stabilizing factor. So we set that up as a 10% stabilizing factor. 10% stabilizing factor. All right, investment's still the same. $500 investment, it still gives you all of that. The market, now this is here, the market is down at the end of the year by 47% in that scenario.
Okay.
So that's the market's pulled back 47%. So holding $100 worth of Ethereum or $1,000 worth of Ethereum, you'd be down to $630 worth of Ethereum at the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Here is now that chart doesn't look impressive until you actually look at the numbers. Right? For a post-launch investor, instead of being what was it, roughly 40% down, a standard investor is actually only 29% down. So they're 11%. They're 11% better off than market conditions. Whereas a pre-launch investor is only 3.9% down over the year. Okay. So as you can see, it still is has market exposure, and still obviously does go down with the market, but you're much better off than just holding Ethereum or holding a token. A token.
Right. The argument I always say, like, because a lot of people say, all my Bernard bonds, like, oh yeah, I'm down so much. Well, I hold a ton of ETH too, guys. You know what? I'm way down in my ETH bag, but you know what? I haven't been making, anywhere from 31 to an average. I think the average rate now is like 70% since launch in the last 7 months, 60 or 70%. I've been making that the whole time through, but my ETH has just been dropping. Okay. But in my bonds, I've been earning every single day. So you have to understand that part.
Yes, I mean, like as you can see, I mean, like it doesn't stop I mean, like nothing's going to stop losing in a bear market. You can only reduce your loss. And the LSteak system does exactly that. I mean, like if you're walking away in a bad bear market with only being down roughly 30% versus the market being down over 40%, you're better off. You're walking away laughing.
Right.
And then you can leave it in there. Then you can leave it in there for the rebound, and you're even more better off because you're starting on a higher footing.
Exactly. You're up. I mean, you're not essentially up, but you're up way more than if you just be holding the coin.
You're not up as in you're not in profit, but you're right. You're up as in you're up versus the market.
Yes. Exactly. And that's what I like. This is the way I think, but everybody seems to think that, it doesn't matter if it's a bear market, you still should be making money on this and that. But I mean, that's why I'm diversified in everything else, guys. Okay. So, I mean, this is just, like I said, another one of my tools in my toolbox that I want to be in, and I'm going to be in very heavy because I want a lot of things working for me. And I think it's a good opportunity. Now, you know that I'm a BTC and an ETH maxi, and I think the bull run is coming sometime in 2026, Graham. And I don't know what kind of percentages you want to put in the spreadsheet. You have more common sense, and you are way smarter than me. So you think you put in what numbers you think would be.
Well, let's do a bull market scenario now. I'm going to do a fairly conservative bull market, which is swings of positive 15%. Like it may go up 15% in a day, and drawdown of about again. Let's go about 5% drawdown when there's a bad bull market day. All right. So that's a bad market bull day. Bonds give you a bit more exposure to the market, so you get a little bit of extra pull up there, and the hedge acts a little bit is a little bit of a drawdown because it's not affected as much as on-chain assets such as Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the alts because of the gold. So we bring that down a tiny bit, and there we are. The market's up 40%. All right. So that's not a bad bull.
It's okay. Yeah, it's not great, but it's okay.
It's not a bad bull.
Yeah. However, now, will the bonds in the top left corner where the bonds are at 30%, that's going to stay there?
30%. We can keep it there. We can put it up. I mean, like let's whack that up to 50%. I don't want to go too crazy numbers, but 50%'s not a bad increase for the bonds. All right. So where does that bring us? Okay, that brings us. So that's a $500 investment pre-launch.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You're up 249%. The market's only up 40%.
And that's after the 12 months.
After the 12 months.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
So about,
as you can see,
about 20% a month.
Yeah, about 20% per month. I mean, like that's as you can see, charts are going up. And again, I mean, like investments into it are staying at $5,000 a month. They would probably be considerably more in a bull market, but we'll keep those very conservative. All right. in a bull market, you are a pre-launch is slightly lower than a post-launch, simply because you've got some exposure in Ethereum in the liquidity pool, which, as you can see here, is, I think it's about 10%, worse off than a post-launch, and that's been, as I said, full transparency. In bull market conditions, that it does happen, simply because you've got a portion just not benefiting to the full system. You've got the F portion of the liquidity there.
Right. So if we went back to the dashboard, Graham, and we check,
Yes.
and we put in, those $5,000 numbers, obviously I think it's going to be more than that when we start off, and even in a bear market. I mean, what does that do to the price for us as a pre-launch investor?
Pre-launch investor, when how LSteak works is it actually speeds up in poor conditions. All right, it speeds up how fast it increases the backing in poor conditions, because it's not, it doesn't have to create more backed tokens. So in the quiet periods, it speeds up. In the fast high deposit periods, it slows down. So
Okay.
we can increase that. So let's increase the where am I? There I am. Let's increase that to $500 a day, or actually, let's go up to $1,000 a day. All right. Okay. So because of that, the actual final return becomes a little bit more realistic. Market conditions still up 38%. Right. A $500 investment returns you 164% versus what it was with much lower investment.
Right.
As I said, this is because when there is investment coming in, it has to mint those tokens. So the yield is being split across more tokens. When investment into the projects goes down, the yield from the bonds is being spread across less relative tokens, so it speeds back up again. It's a self-reinforcing system in the downturns. Right? It's not self-reinforcing. It doesn't exorbitantly, I suppose that's the word. It doesn't over try and compensate in the ups. It's about capital preservation. All right.
So really, yeah. So what you're kind of saying is you're going to make more if more money didn't come in or whatever. Whoever's holding makes more money at the end of the year.
That's it. Whoever's holding ends up making more. Whoever's holding makes more money if more people don't invest. Which sounds counterintuitive. It sounds counterintuitive, but like once you're in, you don't want others to get in, basically.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
It sounds a bit counterintuitive, but
oh, we lost you there for a second, Graham. You there, Graham? Uh-oh. I know Graham uses Starlink because he's way out in the bush in Australia, so it might have been a little. He'll probably be back in here in a little bit. He's just frozen up right now. There he is. Are you there? Well, he was for a second.
Yep, I think I'm back.
Oh, there you are. Well, he was back.
It intrinsically does is it builds in the poor market conditions. All right. That's how it's designed internally to be able to survive long term.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's what we all want, is because I want, and this is, this is how I'm treating this protocol, Graham. And I don't know if this is the right way or whatever, but I'm I'm treating it very similar to bonds. Yes. I want to put X amount of dollars in, and I want to come back once a month and just look at it and maybe take some profits or maybe just do whatever with it. But I don't want to have to go somewhere every day and be like, I need to claim this today, and I need to do this, and I need to switch this over to here. I don't have time, and I don't have the energy to go through something like that. This is just something like, if you were to, it's something you just hold on to and be like, you know what, I'll see you in a month, and we'll see where we're at.
Yes, you can think of this as bonds. Bonds on steroids, I suppose, is a way to put it. It amplifies. It's able to amplify through high contraction, and compounding the yield of the bonds. I mean, like in our scenario here, the yield of the bonds is 50%, right? Whereas at the end, right, the yield that you're actually getting is 160 for a standard investor is around about 165%. So okay. Because of how it's done, it's and contracting the supply all the time, it's boosting up that yield for you.
Right.
So so for example, you're adding $100 every day, but on top of that, you're burning $5 of the actual 5 tokens. So you may have started with 100 tokens, right, and $100 of backing. You've put 100. You put 100 in, so now you got $200 worth of backing, and still 100 tokens. But then you also decide, well, I'm going to burn 5 tokens, so I've got 95 tokens and $200 worth of backing. And as you can see, growth and tracks the supply, which increases the actual yield, the yield.
Right. And now that we're talking about tokens, everyone says, "Oh my God, token this, token that," and I've seen it. We see it with Plasm. There are JEETs out there. There are paper hands. There are people who don't do their due diligence. Be like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't think it worked like this. I got to sell all my whatever." Is there some kind of anti-dump mechanism or some kind of something that's not going to affect it, so the price of LSteak just absolutely plummets to zero?
The backing of LSteak is never removed, so there's actually always hard backing for LSteak.
I should have said XLSteak then.
Or XLSteak. XLSteak, you can dump 100. You can dump all of your tokens, and it won't ever reduce the backing ratio. Right, because all that does is, like, you've got 100 XL tokens, is it's burns those tokens and then removes the exact ratio out of the supply, so it doesn't make the supply ratio go backwards.
Okay, so really, there's no, if someone dumps whatever, it doesn't affect anybody else still in the protocol.
No, it doesn't. That doesn't affect anyone else, and when going out. I mean, like, there is obviously slippage. We've sold right throughout to Ethereum.
Right.
Then he sells. What the system burn mode, which all of it's instead of minting token, using funds to mint the tokens as it does in standard mode. It uses those funds to buy. So all of that yield that you're getting is buying it off the market, burning the excess tokens, and returning the what you would get if minted. So, for example, the market's down. The system does transaction switch to buy and burn mode. So they'll buy so that let's say the market's down, $100 buy would get you 105 tokens, whereas minting would get you 100 tokens.
Okay.
All right. The internal transaction goes, well, okay, minting would only give you 100 tokens, so there's five extra tokens. I'm going to burn them and keep it at and still get 100 tokens. That reduces the supply, contracting the supply, and helping to increase the backing. Because it's an internal purchase, it's then pulling the system back, pulling the price back up to parity with the actual how much it's backed by.
Right. So we don't have to worry about people dumping whatever. They can dump whatever they want. And
they can dump, but the system will then go, well, I'm going to chew up all of these nice cheap tokens, burn the excess, bring the price back up, and also a token having a token having backing and being fully backed. Even the Jeets don't like selling it. It's like it would be like selling USDC at 95 cents.
Right. Well, I've seen Jeets do really dumb things, so I wouldn't doubt if they would.
They do really dumb things. But as a general rule, like they're not that stupid. I mean, like a token. A pump and dump or a meme coin or that type of thing. Let's be honest, no one really cares. No one apart from the holders. The Jeets don't care if they dump the price. They're just extracting maximum value because it is a token and it doesn't have any actual physical backing. 100% backing behind it. It's got a system backing behind it. It's got all of however the project works behind it. But no, for every dollar, there's $1 behind backing behind it.
Exactly. Okay. That makes sense. I just wanted to make sure on that because I keep thinking.
No. All of these things. If it's something that you wish to clarify, it's obviously there will be someone out there that wishes to have it clarified themselves.
Right. Yeah. I mean, just because I see Jeets in every project, and I'm like, what are you guys doing? Like, what are you trying to do here?
Well, I mean, like, the thing is, the real thing is, I mean, like, it isn't going to be a project where overnight we moon. It's not an overnight moon project. It is designed to be a slow and steady up and right. Okay, the numbers are very nice, but it is not designed to be a case of you enter in, all of a sudden you've doubled your money. So the Jeets, that's when they go, well, sweet, I'm going to dump out, maybe get hit with 50, maybe get hit with 20% price impact, but they're still on top.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I mean, if you're out there, guys, and you're looking for a quick, and there's people out there that, I need 1% a day or I can't get in. And I would think by now people are getting sick of that and sick of getting rugged and stuff like that. But there aren't. There's always people looking for, crazy things. Nothing else is working, guys. So, I mean, I know the space very well. Like, all these projects still contact me wanting to talk about, hey, I'll give you $5,000 for a video if you talk about this. And I'm like, I still get those. And I'm like, you know what? No, thanks. 10% a day. So it's like, no, we're not doing that.
And it really isn't a project that's going to be. As I said, it's design. The design philosophy of it is capital preservation, strengthening adverse market conditions, and industry level guardrails in place. Right. So it's capital preservation, build in the crappy markets, and so that you're not going in there into the market and all of a sudden you find the next day, holy shit, I'm worse off than the market.
Right. Exactly. Another thing I should ask you, Graham, when I sent my initial early bird special money in, whose wallet did it get sent to? Who owns that wallet? Who has the keys? Like, what's that all about?
That wallet there is held in custody via AJ, EMP, and the team. I have no control, no direct control over those funds. It is held in custody by AJ and the team. So that's I insisted on that so that it's safe. But let's be honest, I mean, like I may be known in the EMP and DexFi community for a while. I'm still an unknown factor. So AJ and the team have been around for years. They have a wallet, the custody of the wallet there.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I just want to make sure. Yeah. So I mean, not that I don't trust you, but like who has the keys, who's in charge of what, and all this other stuff. Like I like the 5% treasury because, you know, some protocols are all 25, 30, 40% is going to treasury. And, you know, because I imagine that the costs, being it's all going to be smart contract, the costs aren't going to be that much to have this thing running every month, is what I'm saying.
I have specifically designed the project to have an extremely low overheads. I mean, as far as costs of running the project, it can run without any treasury intake. It doesn't require. I mean, apart from cost of hosting the site, which I think's $30 a year. Mm-hmm. Which from memory. So I mean, like that's really the once the contracts are deployed, it will operate. It will sit there and operate. There are variables that have bounds that can be changed to help optimize the system in a particular market, but they have set ranges. So it's designed to be a hands-off once it's launched project. So
besides the hedge, because you're going to be looking at.
Well, the hedge will automatically accumulate with the tokens that we have assigned at the percentages. However, we are able to add other hedge assets as we go along.
Right, because the bond, the 80% of it minimum, the bonds are the bonds. They're going to perform how they perform, and the rest
they're going to perform how they perform exactly. Yeah. And the hedge has a minimum of 5%, maximum of 15%. So that can be varied. The makeup can be of how much a purchase of each can be varied. But we've got an initial start of a three-way split.
Okay.
Just to get the hedge up into a nice thing that can be modified based on market conditions. For example, in a bear market, you want more gold. You want more gold exposure and less market exposure because you don't want the drawdown of the market. And conversely, you want more market exposure in a bull market because you want to capture some of that run.
Right, exactly.
And it doesn't change the ratios of what is already purchased. It only changes the purchasing ratio. So the once funds go into the backing, they're there. They can't be removed. They can't be altered. They can't. They're there, right?
Okay.
I can't. No admin level can touch those funds unless an emergency catastrophic event was triggered, and we have to trigger the emergency pause system.
Okay, so that max of 15% will never be touched. It's just a hedge for. If something were to happen, you have to shut it, pause it and be like, okay, we got to switch something.
Yes, exactly. I mean, like the only time that the backing can ever be touched is if we had to activate the emergency pause. Apart from that, the funds are once they're purchased, they're backing, and then they can't be touched again.
Okay, so here's a scenario I just thought of. Say there's whatever comes in, we'll just say 1,000 bonds get bought by on launch day or whatever.
Yep.
When people start claiming or whatever, or dumping, is there any, like, do those bonds get sold then? Or how does that work?
No. The backing still stays there. All right.
Okay.
All right. So the exit is via the LP, all right, which acts as a throttle for exit. All right. Okay. It also enables the system then to contract when people are exiting, which is what you want. Right, you don't want the number of tokens to be remaining the same if they're whacking more tokens on the market. You want to be removing and burning those tokens from the market.
Right.
So when people do exit, it's actually benefiting the people that stay, because they exit. Yes, the market price will dip for a little bit, but the systems buy them off the market, burn excess, and contract supply, making it so that everyone else that's holding has a better backing for their tokens. So if someone does a massive exit, it may be backed $1 to one token, and an exit happens. The system does the buys, the burns, and so forth, and then the backing per the token might be up to 1.1 because it's had to go through that process. The holders are better off, and as a result, you're given the advantage of holding, whereas people that exit, well, they will get some slippage because that's how LPs work.
Right. What's the average? What do you think the average slippage would be, just for the heck of it?
That's obviously depends on how thick the liquidity is, but you're probably looking at topping out around about 8% slippage, and that's in a worst case scenario. 8%. I mean, like, don't have anything exact up at the moment, but I mean, like, we've currently got 32,000 raised. Slippage, you're looking at 2%, 4%. You're looking at around about a $4,000 exit on a $30,000 worth of liquidity would give you about 8% ish. Mental maths. Don't that's not an exact figure. That's a very quick mental math figure. As protocol, obviously, the deeper the liquidity, the less slippage, and the system does also purchase protocol owned liquidity to be continually increasing the liquidity depth, making slippage even less. So as time goes by, slippage becomes even less of a problem.
Okay, excellent. And what I know we're about 32,000. Like, what's the magic? Obviously, we want 200,000, right?
Obviously,
what's the magic number? Like, what would you really be really comfortable with at the end of pre-launch and at launch?
I would be most comfortable having around about $100,000 worth of liquidity, which is a raise of 125K. That's where I would like to. That's where I'd like to really be at. But the minimum raise of 65K gives us about $50,000 worth of liquidity behind us, which would reduce, which would increase the amount able to be sold by around about $5,000 a day type thing. So you'd be looking around about $15,000 a day could be absorbed by the system of cells.
So what's the disadvantage of having that lesser, like, say, 50 to 100 in liquidity when we start?
The advantage.
Yeah, what's the advantage of having 100 versus 50? Like, is it that big of a deal? Or
the primary advantage for the ecosystem is firstly, your yield. Dollar-wise, obviously your yield is higher. All right, so your yield engine's producing more dollar-wise. The other thing is it's dramatically increases the liquidity depth. So
Okay.
the higher the raise is, the lower the slippage upon launch will be.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense, because whatever that number is, like say the raise is one, whatever, how much of that goes into, well, 80% would go into Bernard bonds then, right?
80%. Well, out of the raise, right? Like, because it has to obviously create the tokens to be able to create the liquidity and all of that, the liquidity splits the pairs that we have are your primary pair, which is your LSteak Ethereum pair, and your secondary pair, which is primarily to enable price a connection between LSteak and the extra layer, is an LSteak XLSteak pair. Right, it's done at a 2/3, 1/3 ratio. There's 2/3 of the is held in the primary pair, 1/3 in the secondary pair. This means that's on. Now I'm using this for an easy math example. On $150,000 worth of liquidity, right? There will be 100K in the primary pair and 50K in the secondary pair.
Okay.
So that means that there would be a total of 100,000 LSteak minted. There would be a minimum of $80,000 worth of bonds. At those settings, there would be $15,000 worth of hedge. Sorry, no, because it's the initial doesn't take the treasury, so it'll be a little bit over those marks. It'll be 82.5 and 17.5% hedge.
Okay.
Because the launch funds aren't taking a treasury cut to set up.
Right. Exactly.
So that's so not only are the pre-launch investors providing the launch liquidity, because the tokens need to be minted in the first place, they're also providing the yield engine.
Correct. Yeah, and that's what people need to realize. Like and this is only going to help the Bernard Bonds TVL guys, and which is going to help DexFi Treasury, DexFi vaults. It's just a snowball effect on everything down the line under the umbrella ecosystem guy, the EMP umbrella guys, and that's what this is all about. And that's why I'm so excited about it, because it helps everything along the way. Plus, you're making a dividend.
Well, the other thing is that leads us onto the LSAS, which I actually have got in the simulation. So if I might go back there, let's bring it back to a sideways market again. So -5. Let's bring it back to a similar market to what we've got. Right. And okay, similar markets. Current launch amounts, we're looking at 30% yield. 30% yield. Now, those forecasts didn't have any LSAS income. Right? They were done with no LSAS income. All right, an average of what is it? Oh, we need to bring that down as well. $1,000 a day coming in, which even in a sideways market is still small. And let's say we've got $1,000 a month with a 10% uptake, 10% adoption rate, which is rather slow. 10% adoption rate of LSAS coming into the system. that's when it starts to beef things really up. All right. Your $500 investment now, I mean, like there's actually not a great amount coming in from the LSAS per day. So I mean, like with 1,000 goes up to about 2,000 by the end of the year. But your return on that $500 investment in a sideways market, similar to what we've got at the moment, then goes up to for a pre-launch goes up to 155%.
And before it was what was it again before?
Well, I can remove that and quickly show you what it is for. That's easy fixed. 0, 0. Before that, 64%.
Okay. And what? Yeah, so that's almost a triple.
So before that, 64%. You add in $1,000, basically roughly $1,000 a month income from LSAS, with a 10% adoption rate. So I mean, like that's only an extra 10% per month, which is realistically a slow adoption. As I said, it's 10%. Yep. Market conditions. On. I changed something else. Why was that? There must have been a small glitch there for some reason. It's not. Yeah. Oh. Doesn't. 0, 0. 67. That's better. Sorry, there was a glitch there, and it returned an excessive number there. It's actually 80%, 80% with the LSAS on top, versus the 60% where it was without. And that's again, that's $1,000 a month, which is pitiful.
Right.
Coming in from LSteak.
Right.
And it's pre-launch gets 79.82%. Post-launch gets 60.3%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, still those are respectable numbers, and that's in a bear market.
But it also that's in a sideways market.
Right.
So basically, what we've currently got, and that in all honesty, that income from LSAS is actually pretty pitiful, even in a sideways market. I would be expecting expecting around about $5,000 a month coming in as a realistic bare minimum would be coming in. 10% adoption. 10% adoption. That's when that's when you are looking at, just double refresh just to make sure there's no glitch there. Yeah. There we go. That's when we're looking at a pre-launch investor is getting 91% return after a year. Post-launch investor is getting 66%.
66, 91, 30, yeah, 35% difference.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's just from LSAS coming in.
Or 25% difference. Yeah, 25%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
20%.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. That makes sense to me because, and maybe you should explain that, the LSAS, liquid staking as a service. Maybe, because I think we've already got eShare and Plasma on board.
That's correct. That's correct. Now, what LSAS is basically, it's basically creating the extra layer for somewhere. So the XL token portion of LSteak for any other project. So what this does is then it sets up a yield engine, right? Which it gets the funds behind it from a transference of the value of eShare into that through an escrow and buy and sell mechanism. which transfers that value, the value of each share into the yield engine and ensures that it's also being deposited into the liquid stake. That then earns yield in the same manner as LSteak does, and then deposits that yield into the backing of the illiquid stake. So you put in 100, or you put in 100 E share because of the same system as LSteak and the same mechanics that cause it to rise. The redemption ratio increases, so it may increase to 1.1. So at the end of the day, those 100 E share, when you redeem them, you get back 110.
Okay.
Now, that is a system that is then basically ported to any project that onboards. All right. So E-share, Plasm, whatever token. Now, LSteak takes a portion of the yield. It has a 5% fee on yield, and just like entry into LSteak, entry into the partner's stake has 5% towards the treasury. That is then splits into the backing of back again into the backing of LSteak at 10% of it burns LSteak, 30% goes into the LSteak backing, 30% of that goes into the protocol owned liquidity, and 30% of that 5% is used for operational funds.
Okay.
Yep.
Perfect. Excellent. Anything else we need to go over other than this early bird ends at well, pretty much we still haven't decided what time that is, my time, but 17 hours. 17. When is it? It's 9. It's how far are you away from midnight?
Midnight here is about 11 in the morning for me. So they're probably actually nearly 24 because it's Thursday over there.
Yeah.
Be close to 24 hours actually. Probably about 24 hours. Just fine. I've got a lovely time buddy that tells me.
Okay.
So, yeah, almost 24 hours. So they're like almost exactly 24 hours till it closes.
Okay, so like less than 24 or more than 24?
Just under. I think.
Oh, so 5 o'clock.
23 and 45, I think it is. Just under 24 hours.
Okay, so 5 o'clock Central Standard Time to 5 p.m. tomorrow. So yeah, a little less than 24 hours from now, guys. You have to get your USDC base sent to that address. All the links will be in the description, obviously. So 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'll make an announcement in the Telegram channels. The Telegram channel is in the description as well. Please join, ask questions. Graham is always in there answering. He's willing to hop on a Zoom or what?
I'm willing to hop on a one-to-one if that's what's a. I'll stop sharing. I don't need to share anything more at the moment.
Yeah, hop on a call, and if you want to talk to him privately, I know he's had a lot of those because there's a lot of interest. I mean, obviously. And I mean that's about it. Did we get everything covered? Oh, Scott, Best Blinds Utah, the guy who makes all the merch, guys, the hat, the shirts. He's wondering what size Graham is. I'm saying probably a medium or a large. What are you, Graham?
No, medium, large. I'm only a small fella, so I mean, like a large would be a tent. Small to medium would be me.
Small or medium. Send him one of each, Scott. Send me a bill. Get him a hat too. But But yeah, we'll get you taken care of on that. And if you guys want any merch, Best Blinds Utah, he's always in the chat. And get a hold of him if you want hats and shirts. He makes very little, guys. He's pretty much doing it just to help out the protocols, get the advertising out there. So anything else we need to touch on, Graham, other than we got about 23 and a half hours to get into the early bird. After that, you just get 2.5% less rebate, and it goes on until launch, I'm assuming.
It'll be about until a week before launch, because we've got to have some numbers, some definite numbers of how much has been raised to be able to put them in the contracts so that the auditors can finish their audits. So there has to be a little bit of time before launch where it'll be closed before launch. So approximately a week before, just to make sure that the auditors have all the information they need to be able to complete the audit.
Right. Perfect. Okay. I think we got everything covered. I mean, between what it is, what it's all about, we did projections, spreadsheets. I mean, everything else. If that is it, it's been an hour and 20 minutes. I think we did a pretty good job.
If we haven't, I believe that we're going to be making this a weekly event.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. No, we're going to be here every week, guys, just like we do with DexFi. Just like I did with Bernard Bonds, we're going to do this weekly. So, get used to seeing me and Graham's ugly face. We're not attractive gentlemen, but we know that, and we're not worried about that. So,
Yeah. I'm glad that it does my my livelihood doesn't depend on my looks.
Me too.
Yes, I believe this time works well for both of us. So I mean, like a weekly AMA at this time, we hopefully can keep up.
Yeah, for sure. It might not be the same day every day, guys. I mean, because obviously we have in real life stuff going on too. But plan on seeing us every week because we want to be as transparent as possible. Give you guys updates. Please join the chats. Telegram groups, ask questions, whatever you need to do. Like I said, you got 23 and a half hours to get into the early bird special, and then it ends, and then you're stuck in the pre-launch, which isn't a bad thing either. Okay, you're just
just lose a little bit of the extra tokens. It's only 2.5%. I mean,
2.5% less tokens. So I mean, not the end of the world. So just keep that in mind, guys. So if that's it, Graham.
I can't think of anything at the moment, but I'm sure that someone will think of something later. As I said, we're going to have more AMAs. Quite happy to answer any questions that come up, or you can contact me on Telegram. As I said, I'm quite happy to do one-on-ones if that's something that's you need to discuss on one-on-ones. So yeah.
Okay, perfect. All right, guys, 23 and a half hours left. You've got to get into the early bird special. After that, you're stuck in pre-launch. Wasn't a terrible thing either. It's USDC on base. All the links in the description to join the groups. Wall address is sent to. Remember, if you decide you want to invest, it's 500 minimum USDC on base network to that address. After you do it, send Graham a message on Telegram saying, hey, here's the TX ID. Here much I put him in so he can have the physical paper of it too. He likes to have a backup. We want to make sure everyone's taken care of here. So that is it, guys. I hope everybody has a great rest of their Thursday, I guess, and Friday for Graham.
Friday, yes, I'm already a day ahead. Trust me, it's no better than yesterday. So I'm.
All right, guys. We will see you in the next one.
See you. We close.